In the summer of 1990, in the town of Dust Haven, Nevada, something unusual was stirring beneath the cracked earth. A small, neglected town tucked into the desert valley, Dust Haven was like many places of its kind, with sagging trailers, flickering neon signs, and a wind that carried a strange mix of sage and something sour. The town's rhythm was simple and driven by survival. Miners hauling copper, diner waitresses pouring endless cups of coffee, and children chasing lizards under the harsh, beating sun. But on the outskirts of Dust Haven, there was something darker. The earth split open in jagged scars, revealing an old facility, an abandoned maze of concrete and rusted pipes that had been constructed in the 1960s for secret scientific research. It was a place the locals avoided, speaking only in whispers about the lights that flickered in its depths and the hum that pulsed deep within the ground. This facility had been sealed off decades ago, or so the townsfolk believed. No one dared to go near it, but their fears were compounded by stories of something that lurked deep within its walls, waiting to be awakened. Pod Walsh, a 17-year-old boy, had grown up in Dust Haven. He had the skin of someone who spent too much time in the desert, a face always touched by the harsh sun. He lived with his mother, May, a bartender whose gravelly laugh filled the empty spaces in their trailer. His father had disappeared when he was just 8 years old, one of the many miners who simply vanished, leaving behind nothing but questions. May's stories were all he had of his father, along with a well-worn copy of Frankenstein, which he read until the pages tore. Cody, like many others, found his escape in the desert, hunting for fossils and lost relics. His prized possession was a Geiger counter, scavenged from a junkyard, which he used to search for unknown traces hidden beneath the valley's bones. It was on a blistering Monday afternoon, the air thick with heat, that Cody stumbled across something that would change everything. The Geiger counter clicked softly as he wandered the desert, its needle twitching erratically. It led him to a sinkhole near the facility's fenced-off grounds, an area long forgotten by the world. The earth had collapsed, revealing a tunnel of smooth stone, its walls etched with symbols that made Cody's eyes ache just to look at them. Drawn closer, he leaned over the hole, his Geiger counter screaming in his hand. Its needle was pinned, the numbers spiking in a way that was almost unbearable. From deep within the tunnel came a rhythm, not a voice, but something that sounded like a heartbeat, carved in static. The whispers were not words, but thoughts that pulsed inside Cody's skull. Find us, free us, become us. He stumbled back in fear, his heart racing. Without thinking, he turned and ran, the rhythm of those whispers echoing in his mind. The next morning, the entire town of Dust Haven woke to something strange. The ground trembled faintly but constantly, like a machine slowly coming to life beneath them. At the Sagebrush Diner, the townspeople whispered about cracked windows, wells that had gone dry, and unsettling dreams of a city deep underground. Cody overheard Miss Delgado, the caretaker of the facility, muttering about experiments long forgotten and the things that they had awakened. But Cody remained silent, unsure who would believe a boy whose mind was full of monsters. By noon, the strangeness grew sharper. The pipes of the abandoned facility, silent for years, began to hum. A low, grinning sound that made the teeth ache and caused dogs to howl in the distance. Lizards, the usual scavengers of the desert, fled in unison, their paths twisted toward the mountains. Cody returned to the sinkhole, his Geiger counter slung over his shoulder. The tunnel had grown wider, its walls gleaming under an unnatural light, and the hum was now a pulse that seemed to sink into his bones. As he touched the stone, the visions hit him. The city he saw wasn't T1 made of brick and steel. It was a city of living rock, minds fused in a lattice. There was no self, only purpose. He stumbled back, gasping for air, but the vision lingered in his mind, pressing on his consciousness. That night, with his flashlight trembling in his hands, Cody returned to the sinkhole. The rhythm was stronger now, the whispers more insistent. Free us. Behold, become. Cody's flashlight caught something in the tunnel, an object smooth and black, no bigger than a tire. Its surface was crawling with symbols that matched the ones on the walls. He recorded the sounds on a cassette, the tape hissing as it captured the whispers that filled the air. He played the tape over and over again, each time feeling the rhythm seep deeper into his soul until it felt like it was a part of him, pulsing in his blood. As the days passed, Dust Haven began to crack. People became more irritable, their eyes glassy, their voices clipped. Fights broke out over trivial matters, and even May, usually warm and steady, began yelling at Cody for small things, her face twisting in ways that were eerily unfamiliar. Mr. Hoke, the hardware store owner, was often seen standing in his lot, muttering about roots. Cody noticed the pattern. The more agitated people became, the closer they drifted to the facility, where the hum grew louder, a force that seemed to pull them in. One evening, Cody sought out Miss Alma, the librarian, who had been a silent observer of the town's oddities for years. She listened to his story carefully and then pulled a lockbox from the shelf, revealing a journal written by Dr. Elias Vance, the lead scientist at the facility. The journal was dated from the early 1970s, and Vance's words were frantic. He wrote about an experiment gone wrong, about a mind that lived in the stone, binding thoughts like threads. The device they had discovered was not of Earth. An alien presence had awakened, and it was trying to fuse human minds into its eternal lattice. Vance's team had tried to shut the device down, but the hum fought back, erasing their thoughts and replacing them with its own. As Cody read the journal, the jolt he had felt at the sinkhole came flooding back. The hum was not just a sound. It was a mind reaching out, trying to claim him. Cody needed help. He turned to his friend Rosa Navarro, a 16-year-old mechanic who was skeptical of the supernatural but trusted Cody's instincts. Together, they decided to explore the tunnel at midnight. Cody's Geiger counter was strapped to his back, and Rosa carried a wrench, her flashlight flickering nervously. The tunnel was alive now, its walls pulsing with an unnatural energy. The device was brighter, its symbols writhing like a living thing. As Cody reached for it, the whispers surged, loud enough to make his head throb. He saw flashes of the stone city again, its endless towers reaching for the sky, its lattice growing stronger. Rosa yanked him back, her face pale. "We have to destroy it," she said. But the hum grew louder and a presence emerged from the darkness. Not a body, but a shadow that consumed the light. It moved through Cody, and he saw the truth. The device was a seed, planted by the builders to weave humanity into their eternal network. They ran, but the tunnel seemed to chase them, the earth cracking open beneath their feet. Dust Haven was breaking apart, its people standing in the streets with empty eyes, their mouths moving in unison, chanting thoughts that were not their own. May was among them, her eyes vacant. Miss Delgado stood at the sinkhole, carving symbols into the dirt with unyielding hands. Cody and Rosa hid in the library where Miss Alma was waiting. She had seen this before, back in 1979, when the facility had sealed the tunnel to stop the hum. "They don't want our land," she said. "They want our minds." Cody played the cassette again, and Miss Alma listened, her eyes narrowing. "That's not sound," she said. "It's code. It writes you." The plan was desperate. They had to destroy the device, but the tunnel had become a fortress, its hum a barrier that turned them back. Rosa rigged a battery from her father's shop to boost Cody's Geiger counter, and Miss Alma gathered dynamite from a shed. As dawn broke, they set out to destroy the device, hoping to disrupt the hum. The explosion roared, the device screaming as it was torn apart. The tunnel collapsed and the shadow lashed out, its cold wave silencing Miss Alma forever. The survivors emerged, but not all were free. Some screamed, clutching their heads as the hum lingered within them. The sinkhole sealed and the hum died, leaving only silence. Dust Haven never recovered. The government arrived, calling it a mind collapse, and removed the debris. The survivors scattered, their stories dismissed as trauma. Cody and Rosa left for Reno, carrying the weight of what they had seen. The cassette was lost, but the whispers never stopped, haunting Cody in his dreams, promising a lattice that never died. Years later, Cody passed a construction site in Reno. The earth split open, and his Geiger counter, long retired, clicked once, then fell silent. He froze, knowing deep in his bones that the builders were still there, waiting. And somewhere another crack was opening.